Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review of these Gil Boxing Gloves. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so today we're going to be doing a close-up win and review on these Gil Boxing Gloves. Got mine in this burgundy or maroon if you want to call it, white and metallic gold color scheme. These gloves are handmade in small batches in Mexico. I got mine through Box Up Nation, so big shout out to them for sending these gloves to me. And they're just beautiful gloves, man, made in that traditional Mexican style cut, where you have a little bit of a wider hand compartment that kind of tapers down to a little bit more of a skinnier wrist compartment. And they really remind me of the earlier versions of the Cleto Reyes gloves. And I think Reyes has evolved a little bit over time with the shape of their glove, but you can see this really retains that traditional Mexican style. 100% genuine cowhide leather, just really beautiful, has more of a matte look to it in terms of the sheen of the leather, and natural latex padding. So again, like most traditional Mexican gloves, you use latex foam, and it's not a super thick glove, but it has about medium to soft density. I definitely would say that these are classified more of a puncher's glove, where you get a lot of feedback. You can see the double stitching throughout. Just a beautifully crafted glove. There's a grip bar, some ventilated holes on the thumb as well as underneath the grip bar. Attached thumb, you can see that gold metallic shines really nicely, some of the stitching there. And white laces, more double stitching down. And then the wrist actually has, I'd say, about a ½ inch of padding. That's about medium density all the way up to the thumb. And on this side, you can see it goes up to the stitching right here. And the back side actually has, I feel like it has less padding than the actual palm side, which is kind of rare. Typically, you get a lot of padding on the back of the wrist, but this has about 1/4 inch of padding. I got mine in 16 ounces. And the inside liner is kind of this satin nylon liner on the inside. And I'll go into detail about the comfort here in a little bit. You have the Gil patch right here on the back. And like a lot of Mexican gloves, a lot of people will say it's upside down, but they face it to where when you're looking at the glove from the fist side, you actually see the branding. So it says Gil, made in Mexico, professional on both, and it's a cloth patch. So just a beautiful looking glove, man. And you can get these in different colors. Again, they're a little bit more, I would say, on the custom side. So you're not gonna get like a stock option typically with these Gils. They just kind of make them to order, and then they send out several pairs in different batches, and you get yourself kind of a custom looking pair of Mexican made gloves. So let's go ahead and put these on the scale. These are supposed to be 16. I think they're definitely heavier than that, just from the way they feel. I'll just put this on the scale, and let's see how much they actually weigh. So these are actually 18.9 ounces. So they're definitely almost 3 ounces overweight. And again, with Mexican style gloves, that's about 19 ounces. So the gloves are almost exactly the same weight to each other. They're just 3 ounces overweight, and you can actually feel the weight. But again, with Mexican style gloves, whether it's Reyes, Zepol, Gil, Campeon, Casanova, Nicali, you name it, they're usually overweight, and it's kind of just one of those things that you expect when you get these type of gloves. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm excited to bring you guys a review of the long-awaited Gil Boxing Gloves. As you can see, I got mine in this wine, almost like a maroon burgundy color, white and metallic gold color scheme. Got mine in lace up, 16 ounces, and these gloves are handmade in Mexico, using full genuine leather materials here, so nothing synthetic. And Gil is a company that's been around for a while now. I believe at one point in time, they were manufactured by the same people that made Zepol. I know there's a little bit of talk out there about who made what, but I've actually talked to the manufacturer who actually makes Zepol now, and they told me that they're actually completely separate from the Gil brand. So Gil is a separate entity from Zepol. They're no longer together, and they still make beautiful products. You can see that this glove is fantastic in terms of the construction of it. I definitely put it up there, and I'll kind of give you guys the breakdown here of the quality. But you can see it's a traditional Mexican style glove, being 16 ounces. It has kind of a wider hand compartment that really kind of tapers down. You get kind of that just tapered look where the wrist section, the wrist compartment is a little bit more narrow than the upper portion. And like I showed you guys earlier in the close-up of the gloves, these gloves run a lot heavier in weight than their advertised weight. And again, that's just something you kind of expect coming from a Mexican-made glove. I mean, that's something I've seen with every single Mexican-made glove I've seen, except for maybe the Bryant boxing gloves, where those are more on weight, which I definitely like. But you know, when it comes to Reyes, Nicali, Casanova, Campeon, I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a couple of brands for so many gloves. They've all been overweight by like 2 to 3 ounces. So nothing that surprises me, but you can see just a beautiful looking glove. I got mine through Box Up Nation, so shout out to Box Up Nation for that. And color wise, these are made in small batches, so there's not really a stock color option per se like you find with a lot of gloves, where sometimes they'll have like 2 to 4 different colors to choose from, and that just is their kind of like their rolling inventory. And then they give you an option for customs, and then they have like a stock set of sizes, so you'll have like 12 to 16 ounces. With these, you can get different sizes, like 12, 14, 16 ounces, but typically they make these in batches. So you'll have a batch of this color scheme that comes out. You might have like a black metallic blue with a white or a silver, and then you might not see that color scheme for a while because they'll make another batch of a different color. Because you got to remember, these are gloves that are made in a smaller setting. They're not like this gigantic factory where they're just churning out gloves like they're made in Pakistan. So you know, you have one person working on these gloves. They're taking their time. It's really meticulous, and there's a lot more detail that goes into this. So in a way, it's great because you're getting a glove that has better attention to detail, and it has a little bit more of a custom feel and look to it, and you can tell by just looking at these gloves. So again, just the design of the glove, you can see it has the Gil logo, which is upside down when you're looking at it from the glove with the cuff down. But if you rotate it, that's typically how a lot of Mexican brands will put their actual labeling and their branding. They put it kind of upside down to a lot of us. But you can see it says Professional Gil, and then you also have the cloth patch on the back of the wrist. This is a triple padded wrist. So you have the little indentations or the channels, if you want to call it, that you can tie down and lace these up. And full leather construction, Mexican cowhide leather. When you took these out of the box, you can definitely smell that really strong leather odor and smell. It does use a natural latex foam padding, so it has more of a kind of a medium to soft feel to it. And I would definitely classify this more of a puncher style glove when you're using this for training. On the palm side, you see it does have kind of a cherry red, cardinal red colored stitching. So that's a nice little added touch with detail. You do have a good large grip bar that's super firm. It doesn't really collapse at all when you're pushing down on it. So that feels really good. Double stitching right there. Ventilated holes on the thumb as well. Leather attached thumb. The split thumb with the white and the gold looks really good. White piping there. The same colored piping. You have these nice white laces that are super long. And then the wrist has about a 1/2 inch of medium density padding that goes up to right here, as well as on the other side that goes right up to the thumb. And on the inside, you do have a satin nylon liner with the weight tag as well right there in 16 ounces. The back of the cuff has about, I'd say, a 1/4 inch of padding of about the same consistency as the front padding right there. So overall, just a beautiful looking glove. I like the little details with that red stitching and the split gold and white thumb. So everything looks really nice with this glove. I would definitely say that this is a longer glove in terms of the profile. So a little bit more wider, but longer on the cuff. So it really drops down onto your forearm. When I put these on here, I'll show you in a second. Quality wise, these gloves are fantastic. Probably some of the best I've seen. If I were to compare it to some of the other Mexican brands, you know, the stitching is definitely on par with Reyes. The leather's up there with Reyes as well. Better than Nicali Casanova. The Casanova gloves I got were nice, but I feel like these are just a tad better. I feel like the stitching is a little cleaner. The lines are a little bit cleaner. There's no like frayed stitching. I even feel like the leather has more of a supple feel to it. Maybe it's like in a different cut. Maybe the leather came from a different region on the cow's body. It gives it a little bit more of like a grainy suppleness to it. It doesn't feel as stiff. Now, don't get me wrong, you still need to break these gloves in like most Mexican style gloves. It's not like super soft, but compared to like the Casanovas and even the Reyes gloves, the leather just, again, feels a little bit more supple and has a different texture to it. So definitely like that. The stitching looks great. You can see they do a nice job of reinforcing it, especially here on the edges. It's not pulling through the leather. All of the leather is tucked nicely in to the fingertip area. And you can actually see just how thick that leather is right here. It's just really durable. This glove's gonna last a really long time. No issues with bubbling on the knuckle area. I've been using these gloves for a little while now, and no issues with consistency. You know, the thumb looks really good. The thumb attachment is full leather. It's not like a nylon strap right there. Stitching looks good on that area. You know, stitching looks good on the thumb, all along down the wrist. You know, nice long laces right there. The inside hand compartment, you don't have any issues with like lip ripping, so you don't see any like exposed latex foam. The only thing I would say with these gloves, they're a little bit top heavy, and it's really front loaded with this glove. So you can see it does have a little bit of droop towards the front of the glove. And that's where you're gonna probably see the majority of the weight with this glove is front loaded. Nice hinge point right there, but just a little bit on the heavier side. We would have liked to seen the glove to be a little bit more balanced with that, seeing that these gloves are about 3 ounces overweight. I think they could have redistributed the material or the foam on the inside to give it a little bit more of a balanced feel. Now, the comfort of the glove, sliding your hand in here, the first thing you notice is how rough the inside liner is. And one thing I noticed with these Mexican style gloves is they don't really put any kind of like soft foam material or even a soft cloth type liner to give you a little bit of comfort. It's kind of like what you see is what you get, and it has that real rugged feel. And you can feel like how they actually glue this nylon liner, and it starts to wrinkle up. So it starts down here as being smooth, and as this liner moves up, it kind of forms like little lines and wrinkles that kind of gives it more of a kind of a rough feel on the inside hand compartment. And obviously they're okay with doing that. They haven't changed it for so many years now, but it's something that you would probably want to see where you can at least have some kind of like softer liner, just so it gives you a little bit more comfort in the hand compartment. But overall, the actual thumb feels really good. It doesn't feel like it's restricted. It doesn't jam at the top. Good positioning with the thumb. Doesn't feel awkward. Finger compartment's nice and deep. Now, one thing is the grip bar is great, and they also add, it feels like a piece of rolled leather right here on this fingertip compartment. So you have essentially 2 grip bars. You have this one right here, and then on the inside fingertip compartment, there's like another piece of rolled leather that covers the stitching, and then you have your hand in there. So you feel like you have like a double grip when you put your hand in these gloves. There's definitely a break-in period with these, with how stiff these gloves were when I got them out of the box and started using them. So over a period of time, once you really break these in and they soften up on you, like most Mexican style gloves, you'll really love them. It just takes that break-in period. You know, some people hate it, some people don't mind. It's completely subjective to you. Now, wrist support feels really good. One thing I wish was this wrist support was a little bit tighter. And you can see that it has a little bit of kind of a looseness to it. And that's even when my laces were tied down all the way. And I feel like this could be a little tighter. Maybe if I went with a smaller weight, like some 14 or 12 ounces, this would be a little bit more snug. But I feel even with these 16 ounces, there's a little bit too much room in there, even when these are laced up. So maybe if they made the wrist support a little bit thicker so that when you tie the laces down, it really hugs around your wrist. Maybe on the back side as well. That would lead to a better feeling wrist support. And that kind of alludes to the weight being 3 ounces overweight. I feel like maybe they can somehow redistribute the weight, put a little bit more padding on the bottom here, and kind of change the weight up top of the knuckle area. Maybe not have so much weight around on this latex foam, or use a little bit, lighter weight latex and put that towards the bottom wrist area. It balances it out and you get a little bit better wrist support. So just some ideas I was tossing around on the weight and just the feel of the wrist with this. But other than that, thumb feels good, hand compartment feels good. It just takes a little bit of breaking in. I feel like the wrist support could be a little bit better, but overall feels really nice, especially with that double grip bar. Protection and performance. Now these gloves are definitely more of a puncher's glove. If you're using these for sparring, your sparring partner might not like you very much because you could definitely feel your knuckles go through on the latex foam with this. If you're using these on the heavy bag and you're not used to a traditional Mexican style glove, you'll definitely feel more feedback. So when you're hitting the bag, you'll feel your punches and your knuckles really go through the latex foam. Some people love that. I definitely don't mind that at all. I like feeling that crack. I like feeling that that feeling of my knuckles really sinking into the foam and making contact with the punching surface, but you're sacrificing some protection. So the shock absorption, it does, you know, don't get me wrong, it absorbs shock like most gloves should be doing, but you definitely feel it more than like you would say, you know, like a Title Joe World, you know, bag glove, or even the Rival Guerrero bag gloves, where those absorb the shock a little bit more because the type of foam that they use in there compresses differently and takes the brunt of that blow, compared to a latex foam where it's a little bit softer and it just goes right through. So keep that in mind. It's not a bad or a good thing, it's just a thing to keep in mind when you get these gloves. But they're definitely more of a puncher style glove for those of you that are wondering about it. And again, wrist support could be improved a little bit. You can see it's a little bit on the loose side. You can see how much more, if I just pinch on this right here, this channel where the laces go on, you can see how much room I have there. And you can also see just how far down this cuff drops down on my forearm. So it is a longer cuffed glove. For those of you guys that are wondering, it's not like super high up here, like some of the compact boxing gloves, or even like Muay Thai style gloves where you have a shorter cuff. So if you like the longer cuffs, you'll definitely be happy with these. If you don't, then do expect for these to drop down quite a bit. Now, cost-wise, these gloves were $139, which to me is a fair price, all things considered. I think it's better than Reyes in terms of just the fit and feel. The quality is right up there with Reyes. Performance is pretty close to Reyes, using the latex style foam, being more of a puncher style glove. And you get really cool looking colors with this. So you definitely get more of a one-off feel, custom colors. Quality is definitely up there with Reyes, and the price is cheaper as well for $139. I think Reyes are about like $170, $180, so you're actually getting a little bit better deal. I definitely think they're better than Casanova, the Nicali gloves. From my own personal experience, the hand compartment's a little bit more comfortable. It's not as wide as the Casanovas. It's just a little bit more form-fitting. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where I got these Gil Boxing Gloves. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.